Roll like a star in my head, I sleep high, open my eyes to take a peek, to find that I was by the sea, gazing with tranquility. And then when the hurry gun comes stinging storms of love, and when the hurry gun comes stinging storms of
What the hell? Yeah!
You were the one that let go.
Look, why don't we take a break? We've still got 6 hours.
Shouldn't that be near when the sun sets?
When does the sun set?
What's the date?
12.
In this area, I would say 43. Though I could be wrong. It could be 8:42 or 8:44 for that matter.
Well, in that case, it should come just about the time the sun sets, give or take a minute or two. You do seem to take quite an interest in the sun.
That's all I ever used to think about. The first time I saw it, I knew I wasn't supposed to look into it, but I did. And I could see everything. The whole evolution of the planet emanating from its core.
The only thing I see emanating from its core is sunstroke. The damn thing fries you all day and lets you freeze all night. Give me helium bulbs and sodium heaters any day to that accursed thing. And as for these clothes,
Although I'll admit they regulate heat a little better than our Tridex jumpers, I would exactly say they're the apex of comfort.
Well, you better get used to that. For that matter, you better get used to it. Because whether it's for the next 6 hours or the next 60 years, you better get used to it. Because there's no turning back.
I know that, John. We all know that. Or we wouldn't be here. All I'm saying is just because something's supposed to be better doesn't mean it's paradise.
Why can't this be paradise, Jake?
Why can't it be hell, Gina?
Look, we'll have plenty of time to philosophize, but first we've got to get that antidote.
Sun's not setting any slower.
Please, Jen, I just need to ask you one question. I know that I'm the newcomer to this group, but the truth is I only came along so I could see the sun. I don't know. I knew it was suicide, just like everyone said. But I can spend my whole life without seeing it. But now, I've come to see you all believing in something so strongly that a week ago I thought was impossible. That I find myself beginning to believe, but then certain questions keep springing into my mind.
For instance?
Well, why would everyone crawl into the hole if an antidote were to give them immunity?
Several reasons. First off, there wasn't a lot of the stuff. The government feared at the time of the Holocaust that if the serum were known about, people might begin to riot for it. More chaos than existed already had to be prevented.
Secondly, the antidote was only effective at low levels of radiation. It would have been as ineffective in most parts of the world, and still probably is in more heavily radiated areas.
But why then?
oh, I know the answer to this question. Why didn't they release a more potent antidote later? Or perhaps a better question is, why don't they release the serum now, when the levels of radiation is low enough? The answer to both is politics.
Once everyone was down in the holes, the bureaucrats found society much easier to maintain and control.
At first, lots of people, like Joe's grandfather, advocated only temporary underground isolation. But they became fewer and fewer as memories faded of the world above.
The world below took over. The people in high levels began to fear a return to the surface, for they knew it meant a loss of power. A propaganda campaign began, painting the above world as a dismal place, unworthy of habitation.
The improved antidotes never got invented. People like my grandfather were ridiculed and called radicals. He told me on his deathbed that the levels in this area anyway should reduce enough to make the drug effective. And he'd have tried himself but feared he'd never make the journey. So he gave me a map, some good advice. He said it'd be hard, but it'd be worth it.
So come on. We've got less than 6 hours before the levels of radiation in our bodies are so strong the drug will be ineffective.
Okay, I'll hold it in place while you make a grab for it.
What if you lose your grip? The sooner one of you gets in there, less likely that'll happen.
I'll do it.
Oh, I got it. Opening's bigger on this side. Here I go.
We're beginning to lose it!
Jake, get the hell out of there.
Man, it's too dark down there. I can hardly see anything. I'm not sure. I wonder what it's used for.
Perhaps it's some sort of medical instrument. You took pre-medicine. What do you think, John?
It would be hard to say without knowing how it functions.
It's got a switch on top of it.
Oh, turn it on.
Is he all right, John? Do you think he'll be okay?
Only if you believe in an afterlife.
What do you mean?
He's dead, that's what. Whatever came out of that thing blew half his head off.
He was still alive just a minute ago.
People don't just die like that.
Yes, they do. Well, at least they did. Perhaps my background has for once served a purpose in preparing me for this. You see, ever since we pulled back into the holes, probably even before that, our culture built what you might call an unhealthy aversion to death. People became so scared of death, they wished to obliterate the whole concept completely. As populations began to grow in the holes, medical advancements made it possible to prolong life further and further. A more controlled lifestyle led to fewer accidents. They occurred, but only as exceptions. Total immunization made disease practically non-existent. And as for genetic defaults, these were corrected long before any abnormalities would or could show themselves. In the end, only really old people would die, and their deaths were so prolonged as to prepare everyone. It's not so much the fact that he's dead that bothers you, so much as the suddenness and finalness of it in someone so young.
Someone once told me a story about a young boy that died, but I didn't believe him.
In med school, I learned about death as I learned about life. The two aren't quite inseparable in a realistic environment.
So this is freedom?
He told me to turn it on. You heard him. Everyone heard him.
We're all just a little shaken up, that's all.
God damn it, Jake! Stop pointing that thing! No one could have known what it was going to do.
I knew. You knew what? I knew that it was a gun.
What did you say?
Well, I told you about my parents' library. Stocked full of literature deemed unfit for public consumption. Stories of greed and hatred, and violence. Seems like only the upper crust is allowed corrupted morals. I had an idea, but I wasn't sure. I've never actually seen one before. Joe just had to find out.
What are you talking about? Give me that goddamn thing before you hurt anyone!
Although I'll admit it felt a little awkward at first, just beginning to feel more and more comfortable about it.
Think about what you're saying.
No, you think about what I'm saying. I was sick of taking orders from Joe, and I'm sure sick of taking orders from you. I'm tired of people trying to tell me how to think. First my father, then the schools, and now you. I've decided it's time to draw the line. What did you do with Joe?
Like you really care.
We put him in the dwelling where we found his clothes.
Don't you think we should bury him?
What for? We're all going to be dead in a couple hours, more or less. Who's gonna bury us?
Look, Jay, we've all been through a lot. I know you. You didn't mean to kill Joe. You just didn't take everything into consideration, that's all. Look, we still have a chance to live, but you're gonna have to put that gun down.
You condemn me in the same breath as you exonerate me. I mean, you said kill Joe. That's what you said.
It's just a figure of speech. I didn't mean anything by it.
You meant everything by it. Deep down inside, you all blame me for what happened. And paybacks are a bitch.
It seems to me, Jake, the only one accusing you of anything is yourself.
Well, I should know. I'm gonna clear my head.
I think the radiation must be getting to him. Different people metabolize at different rates.
I think it's that damn gun that's getting to him. I seriously wonder why we brought him along.
What? Is the radiation getting to you too? We never would have made it this far without Jake's help, and you know it. Sure, it was just money. But money we needed for an escape that would have been impossible without it. But Jake's just confused, that's all. It's no wonder considering his background.
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. Poor little rich kid. Now there's a paradox. If I ever heard one.
There's more to it than that, John. His parents separated when he was young. His father got custody, and he's a ruthless man. I know, I worked for him.
We've all been through some rough times, Jenny.
Jake was kind to me and helped me when I needed it. Or doesn't my pain count either?
Look, I'm sorry. I apologize to the both of you. I just get so tense when things get out of control.
I don't see how you can get so worked up. You handled Joe's death so coolly.
Why don't you tell her about your other experience with death, John?
It's not something I'm used to discussing. Besides, we don't have time.
I guess it depends on what you consider to be important.
What the hell? There's not a whole lot to it. You remember the oxygen wars that occurred about 2 decades ago? Well, it was found out that the government had been secretly depriving full levels of oxygen to areas deemed undesirable and possibly volatile. The incident has been so purposefully distorted and confused by the Information Bureau that one would be hard-pressed to find a single scrap of evidence to back what I say. But it is true. Jake's not the only one to get his hands on information seen as undesirable to a public audience. Anyway, my parents were physicians monitoring at one of the distillation plants connected with the surface. They had no idea, like most of the people in the plants, what the government was secretly up to.
But what does depriving people of oxygen do but kill them?
The levels of oxygen were only reduced, not shut off. It went on for years before anyone began to realize there might be a little more to it than just a bunch of lazy, apathetic people.
They gave them enough oxygen to live and to work, but not to think, and certainly not to rebel. But after word got filtered down, they did rebel, destroying an entire distillation plant and trampling my parents to death. But I don't blame them. It brought change and assurances for the future that may or may not be broken. In a just or unjust cause, innocent lives are taken, just as freedom and tyranny have their price.
But why innocent people?
Because society is bigger than any one person. And that makes us at times victims to its desire.
It's getting late. We almost had it last time.
That was with Joe.
You trying to say that?
want to do it.
Do you all want to die?
What did you do with that thing?
The gun's in a safe place.
To be used at your own discretion? Look at yourself. This isn't you, Jake. This isn't you.
Right. I knew when I first walked in. Without the gun, suddenly, everything doesn't seem so urgent, so imperative.
I had really been provoked with my own paranoia. See that now. Sure felt good though.
To know that everything I said would be immediately adhered to.
Felt so safe. Safe from everything.
Listen to yourself. Was Joe safe?
You're right. The gun has to be destroyed. And Philip pulled me from here. Nothing is pure evil.
It's refreshing to hear some sense coming out of your mouth. Judging by the sun, just in time, too. All right, on three.
Hey, we better trade sides.
Once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you think you're gonna hold it? Only one way to find out. Damn, I could have sworn that was a medical insignia. I don't think it's down here. Oh, wait a minute. Ah! God!
You slipped, I swear it! My hands are so slippery.
Why didn't you warn us?
It happened so fast.
John, are you all right?
That's a pretty ridiculous question. But I do have good news. I found the antidote.
You say he found the antidote?
Get out of the way! John, hand it up. Is the hole big enough? Should I... Ah! What the hell are you doing? I thought we were on the same side here. So did I. What's that supposed to mean? You think I did that on purpose? Well, you... You what? You think I killed Joe on purpose? Is that what you were gonna say? You asked me to trust you. You never trusted me.
Look, Jake. I'm sorry I looked at you like that. Maybe I was quick to judge.
No, we both saw it. It wasn't the tightness of his grip or the way he shifted his body. It was the look of hate right into his eyes. That made us both numb.
He knows all of our needs. Jimmy lives in North Hollywood in a van. And now we're waiting for Jimmy.
So did you give yourself a shot at that stuff yet, John? I don't know why you're being so ridiculous. All you gotta do is hand that up, and we'll have you out in no time. You have my word.
I tell you what, are you there, Denny?
I'm here.
If you give the gun to Denny, I'll hand it all up.
Your idea is hardly practical. We need every ounce of strength as it is. Where's Gina?
She's around.
We gotta go back and visit Albert and the guys.
Jenny couldn't possibly hold the gun up and help lift at the same time.
What? Get the gun down there.
Oh, so you could use it against me later?
Destroy the damn thing, man. I agree with that.
Well, I wouldn't. You know, I've been thinking something like this is going to come in pretty handy if we're going to survive. We need it.
You need it like a rat. Get rid of it.
None of you understand. Now hand some of that up or I'm going to blow your head off.
One more quick move, and you'll be killing yourself.
Yeah? Yeah, but not if I point it at her. Now hand it up.
Tell me what to do.
Dad.
Goodbye, John.
Does everybody want to die? Am I the only one that wants to live? Am I the only one that can think straight?
He's getting worse. Maybe we should.
Teddy! Gina! Is he gone?
Yeah, he just left.
I've had these ready for hours. I thought he'd never leave. It's a muscle shot, so just stick it in a fleshy part of your body and push down on the plunger. Then hammer needles back down. He'll be furious if he finds out.
Maybe if he got a shot, it would help him calm down.
No, it's too late for that. You said it yourself. Look in his eyes. We just can't trust him. Can't trust any man.
Hey, that's not fair.
That doesn't make it any less true.
Just because...
Not now, John.
Is there something you two aren't telling me?
Might as well tell her, Ken. We are spending the rest of our lives together. That will probably be longer for some of us.
We'll get you out of there, John. But not until sunset.
Don't change the subject.
Please.
God, why does it still hurt? Time heals the wound, but the scar remains. It's just imperfect things sometimes happen in a perfect world. Only in a perfect world, no one will believe anything happened. When I was younger, I was molested. At the time, I thought it was the most horrible thing that could ever happen to anyone. But what followed turned out to be much worse. To have a total stranger turn on you is one thing. But when it's people you normally respect and love, it cuts twice as deep. I was pregnant and forced into an abortion. Not really sure I wanted to keep the baby or even give it up for adoption, but I felt like it was my choice. They made out as if I had created some sort of problem, and they were benevolent enough to fix it as if I was ungrateful. After that, I left them. I haven't seen them since.
Where's the water?
Thirsty.
It's over there. But be careful, it's all we've got.
We're all gonna be dead in a little while anyway, aren't we?
Yes, but
Yes, but what? What are you planning on doing when the water runs out?
We were gonna worry about that later.
Let's worry about that now.
Why must you ruin everything for everybody?
What difference does it make? We're gonna be dead in a little while anyway. The sun's gonna set any minute. Unless, of course, well, Bennett does. I had to kill all of you.
I swear we haven't. So blurred.
Lies! Lies from both of you! Prove to you John's still alive.
I've been all day and I've got a pretty good idea how this thing works. Where are you going?
Sunset. I'll be back in a minute.
What should I do now, John?
Kill the bastard.
So wait.
Use your own words, John. You're only killing yourself.
Maybe Jake's right. Maybe killing isn't the answer.
She's just trying to save his own skin.
But we've got the gun now. We have nothing to fear.
Listen to her, John.
Are you crazy?
Come on, you've got the gun. Time to run it out.
Okay, but only if the gun's destroyed.
But we can't. We can't trust him. The gun offers protection and security.
You're beginning to sound more like Jake.
No, we're wrong. No, I'm the one that's wrong. Like this awful legacy we live under. Living inside the grave of World War III.
I'll tell you something about World War III. Never happened.
What do you mean it never happened? Look around you, man.
Oh yeah, the Holocaust was real. It's the reasons behind it that are all lost from our history books.
What do you mean?
Simple. I mean, World War III never happened. One of the two major superpowers, nuclear capabilities, was under economic and political upheaval. And the other one wasn't far behind. It was an accident. It was a mistake. It was Murphy's Law, in effect. Half the missiles had already been fired before either side knew what the error was.
You mean like a computer malfunction?
Who knows? The point is, it could have and should have never happened.
Why must everything be so Utah when I die?